Y'all did not put the right coach or team around her. She's been lied to, man. This is bull crap. This is trash. What the Indiana Fever have done with a superstar? This is malpractice by management. This has been coaching malpractice. This is embarrassing.
The Indiana Fever are not building around Caitlin Clark, they are breaking her. The most explosive, creative player in a generation is being forced into a slow, rigid system that stifles her every instinct. Her swagger is disappearing, her confidence is fading, and the fiery competitor who captivated the nation now looks hesitant and lost on the court. This isn't just a story about a rookie adjusting to the pros. The evidence suggests this is a case of coaching malpractice and front office failure that is actively sabotaging a superstar right before our very eyes.
She wants Clark to play slow. She doesn't want Clark to do her thing.
And let's take a listen to what Caitlin Clark said. And she essentially exposed that Stephanie White wants him to play slow.
I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to
It's on me not conceding.
The Indiana Fever sold a dream, not just to the fans, but to Caitlin Clark herself. They promised a new era of Fever basketball, an explosive, high-octane offense built entirely around their new centerpiece. The vision was clear, a team that would run opponents off the floor with Clark acting as the engine, pushing the tempo and launching pinpoint assists from every angle. Fans envisioned a blur of motion, fast breaks, and a relentless pace that would maximize Clark's uncanny ability to see plays before they happened.
She's just admitted it, that the coach does not want her to play fast. The coach doesn't want her to play fast. We hired a snake oil salesman.
The reality, however, has been a slow, agonizing nightmare. Instead of unleashing a racehorse, the Fever have put her on a leash. Statistically, they are one of the slowest-paced teams in the entire WNBA, consistently ranking near the bottom of the league in transition opportunities. The run-and-gun phenom from Iowa now finds herself walking the ball up the court, forced into a grinding, methodical half-court offense that feels like a betrayal of everything that makes her a generational talent. The promise of speed has been replaced with a crawl, and the whiplash-inducing contrast has left everyone wondering what went wrong.
At times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and you know, that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man.
So who is the architect of this slow burn offense that is suffocating its star? The answer lies with head coach Stephanie White. To be clear, White has a long and respected history in the league, and her coaching philosophy is well established. She values structure, control, and deliberate half-court sets where every pass and every screen is meticulously planned. This style has brought her success in the past with different teams and different types of players. But with Caitlin Clark, it's a catastrophic mismatch.
You know, we did all the things that the coach wanted us to do. I mean, I think that's about as much of a call out of a coach as you will ever get from Caitlin Clark.
You don't draft a player known for brilliant improvisational chaos and then demand that she color inside the lines. It's the strategic equivalent of buying a Ferrari and then demanding it only be driven in school zones, never shifting out of first gear. This isn't a simple case of a player needing to adapt to a new system. It's a situation where the system is fundamentally at odds with the star player's DNA. The unyielding clash between White's rigid structure and Clark's creative freedom is the central conflict tearing the Indiana Fever apart.
Like, she literally is like, I want to turn this team into the Connecticut Sun. You know, I had success in this old style. For
weeks, fans and analysts could only speculate about the tension brewing behind the scenes. It was visible on the court, but impossible to prove. Then, the smoking gun appeared, and it came directly from Caitlin Clark's own mouth. After one particularly frustrating loss, she stood before the media and offered a seemingly innocuous comment that sent shockwaves through the league. She said, "I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster." Then came the part that exposed everything. But for the most part, we did what the coach wanted us to do. In the carefully managed world of professional athletes, a statement like that is an earthquake.
Careful, look at that. She doesn't have a player, a defender in her zip code right there. She's squared up. This is a practice three. And she makes about 99% of her practice threes. There's absolutely no reason not to shoot this basketball, and yet she doesn't, and then she throws an ill-advised pass, and we can say, oh, well, yeah, that's on Caitlin Clark. She's the one that made the decision. Absolutely. But anyone who's played enough and has had situations with coaches where they're trying to change you or change another player, that 100% messes with your head, it messes with your confidence.
It was delivered calmly, almost with a sense of resignation, but the subtext was screaming. This was Clark, a player known for being a fierce competitor and a natural leader, subtly signaling that she feels powerless, unheard, and creatively stifled. It was the first public crack in the polished facade, exposing the deep internal disconnect between the player she is and the player her coach is forcing her to be.
Move fast, man. I thought that the Indiana Fever were trying to be that team that runs you off the floor, that hustles. I felt like they were the deepest team. Like, looking at the roster, man, they actually have some players that could run the floor. And I'm just like, dang, bro, it's really crazy to see that they're not really trying to run the floor like I would expect them to.
This internal conflict isn't just theoretical. The evidence is all over the court, and it's painful to watch for anyone who understands her game. There was a moment in a recent game that perfectly captured the crisis. Clark caught the ball wide open at the three-point line, a shot she would have fired without a millisecond of hesitation at Iowa. It's her signature, the shot that made her a legend. But this time, she paused. You could almost see the gears grinding in her head, the battle between instinct and instruction. She hesitated, second-guessed herself, and ultimately passed up the shot.
Stephanie White wants to do is not going to work for this team. It is not going to work for this team. What Stephanie White wants to do will not work. And by the way, I'm not saying what Stephanie White wants to do is won't work in general. Won't work in general. Because it has worked. She's had success. But I'm saying what Stephanie White wants to do will not work for this team specifically.
The possession ended in a turnover. That isn't a rookie mistake or a loss of skill. That's a player whose natural instincts are being systematically suppressed. Her basketball brain is being rewired to favor caution over confidence. And the result is a player who looks unsure of herself for the first time in her life, leading to uncharacteristic mistakes and forced plays born from a system that simply does not fit.
She's been a completely different player. And I don't mean just missing the threes. There is no fire there. There's no arguing with the officials. There's no getting the crowd revved up. It seems like she's almost checked out, resigned herself to being less than.
Beyond the statistics and the flawed strategy, something even more important is vanishing right before our eyes. Her fire, the Caitlin Clark that fans across the world fell in love with, was an unapologetic force of nature. She played with an undeniable swagger, mixing relentless trash talk with bold, joyful celebrations and a competitive inferno in her eyes that lit up every arena she entered. That fire now seems to be dimming. Her body language has shifted dramatically from commanding and energetic to subdued and at times defeated.
And the fire, I mean, you can see the fire has gone out. Just think back to the Connecticut game and how fired up she was, and the trash talking with JC Sheldon, and then hitting after the incidents, hitting that big time three over JC Sheldon, and yapping at the Connecticut Sun coach, and all of that is gone. Did we see any of that in the Valkyries game? Any of that in the Aces game? Any arguing with officials? Any firing up the crowd? Any trash talking? None of it.
The player who used to argue calls, pump up the crowd, and get in the face of her opponents now often looks downcast and resigned. Compare her fiery, combative demeanor in early games to her more recent appearances, and the difference is startling. This isn't just about a player going through a slump, it's about a system that seems to be methodically chipping away at the very spirit that made her a phenomenon. She's lost her smile, and with it, the joy of the game is being drained away.
Dejected, and yeah, I think also sick, but tired, dejected, frustrated. Caitlin Clark resigned to doing what Stephanie White wants her to do. Resigned to say, hey, we're going to walk it down slowly.
But this developing disaster isn't solely on the coach. The problem goes all the way up to the front office and a roster that was bizarrely and negligently constructed around a player like Clark. Instead of surrounding their new franchise player with young, athletic shooters and finishers who could keep up with her on the fast break, the Fever invested heavily in veterans like Natasha Howard. While she is a respectable and accomplished player, she is built for a physical half-court game, not a high-speed track meet. When Clark grabs a rebound and looks to ignite the transition offense, she often finds herself on an island.
Caitlin Clark coming out for the first time and saying, I want to run fast, coach doesn't. That is the first time that she's done that.
There are no wings sprinting to the corners for open threes, no athletic bigs running the floor for easy layups. The pieces simply don't fit the puzzle, leaving Clark's greatest weapon, her unparalleled transition passing, completely and utterly neutralized. The lack of quick athletic wings and reliable floor spacers means defenders can sag off their assignments, clog the lane, and wait for Clark to run into a wall of bodies, a situation she almost never faced in college. The front office had one job: build a team that amplifies its superstar's strengths, and on that count, they have failed spectacularly.
She's lost her smile. You can tell she's not having fun playing basketball. And you can tell she was having fun playing basketball when she walked out on the floor against the New York Liberty, because it was her first game back and she hadn't played basketball in a while. And you can tell after that game, you remember Stephanie White in the press conference? You know, Caitlin needs to pass the ball to Dantas. Caitlin, we need to introduce her to Dantas. She needs to pass the ball more. Caitlin Clark was an assist and 2 rebounds off a 32-point triple-double in a win against the Mercury.
Perhaps the most infuriating part of this whole situation is the public gaslighting. After games, Coach White will step up to the podium and offer statements that completely contradict what everyone just witnessed. She'll say things like, "We just need to get her better looks," as if she isn't the one designing the stagnant offense that prevents those looks from ever materializing. After a monster game where Clark nearly recorded a triple-double in a win, the coach's takeaway was that Clark needs to pass the ball more.
Coach claims she had been watching her for 5 years and she loved her style of play. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. This organization sold her a bullcrap bill of goods, saying that we're playing to win now. We're leaning into playing fast Fever basketball. And what did they do? They went and got Natasha Howard in her 19th season who can barely move. They went and got Dewana Bonner, who's in her 97th WNBA season, who's not even with the team anymore and collecting $200,000. She's not even with the team.
It's a baffling narrative that attempts to shift the blame, making it sound like a player issue rather than a strategic one. This isn't just standard coach speak, it's a deliberate effort to control the story, spewing nonsense that paints a picture of a team trying to help Clark, when in reality, the system is the primary obstacle. It's an insult to the intelligence of anyone watching.
Sydney Colson has not even been able to clean up spilled water on the court. No, we'll let somebody else do it. Don't touch the court. She ain't been able to get on the floor in years. Now she is an important piece, playing 20-some minutes a game. This has been a scam. This is trash, bro. And at the end of the day, yeah, we got all the haters piling on us. It's not good. Caitlin's lost her smile. I seen all the outside stuff that she's been able to block out and be superwoman. Maybe some of it is starting to seep in.
And the damage isn't just confined to Caitlin Clark. The entire Fever roster is being held hostage by this flawed philosophy. Think about Aaliyah Boston, last year's unanimous Rookie of the Year. She is a dominant, athletic force in the paint who thrives on catching the ball in motion and overwhelming her defenders. In a slow, congested offense, her life becomes infinitely harder. Defenses can double team her with ease, and her opportunities to score in transition are virtually non-existent.
Done. I don't know how a few games ago we got Stephanie White talking about we're trying to figure out our identity when we had an identity before you even showed up. We had an identity before you even showed up. Caitlin Clark has been lied to.
Then there's Kelsey Mitchell, a proven and explosive scorer who is now shackled by a system with fewer possessions and less creative freedom. This isn't just a case of one superstar struggling to fit in. This is a story of a coach's rigid ideology suppressing the talents of an entire young core. The system isn't just failing Clark, it's failing everyone.
This is embarrassing. Where is Lisa Bluter? Can you please come out of retirement? This is trash. This is trash. We were told, she was told we're going to play fast. All of a sudden, we went from being the fastest team in the league by a long shot to like the second slowest team in the league. She did not sign up for that.
With every loss and every hesitant shot, the external firestorm grows. Caitlin Clark entered the league with a target on her back. Every skeptic and every pundit waiting for her to stumble is now being served evidence on a silver platter. But the tragic irony is that this evidence isn't proof that she can't handle the pros. It's proof that her own team is setting her up to fail. The Fever's broken system is manufacturing the very lowlights that her critics use as ammunition.
You know, I mean, Kelsey Mitchell's not even the same, right? Like, this isn't even just Caitlin Clark. It's just mostly Caitlin Clark. And as a player, I tell you, you absolutely get tired of listening to all the nonsense from the coaches. And you just say, yeah, you know what? Fine. I'm going to do it your way. We'll see how it goes. It's going to suck, but we'll do it. And that's why the fire is out. And you get Steph White, like after the last game, talking about, oh, her shot's going to be fine. We just need to get her better looks. You've done nothing to get her better looks. You don't even try to get her better looks. That is just Stephanie White, again, talking like a coach, spewing nonsense, gaslighting everyone.
They are not just losing games, they are actively damaging their star player's brand and feeding the narrative that she was overhyped. The organization is quickly earning a reputation for incompetence. They were gifted a cultural phenomenon, a ticket to relevance and fortune, and they are fumbling it in spectacular fashion, turning their own team into a national punchline.
At a full 100% team, man, everybody is there. Everybody's putting in work. I think the Indiana Fever are a competent team, man. I haven't lost faith in them. Even after the night, I haven't lost faith in them.
The Indiana Fever are a franchise at a dangerous crossroads. They possess a generational talent, a player capable of rewriting their history and defining the league for the next decade. Yet they have trapped her in a broken system, saddled her with the wrong personnel, and are now watching as her confidence and competitive fire slowly erode. The clash with the coach's philosophy, the poorly constructed roster, and the visible crushing of Clark's on-court spirit have created a perfect storm of dysfunction. The question is no longer about whether Caitlin Clark can adjust to the WNBA. The question is whether the Indiana Fever will wake up and adjust to their superstar before it's too late. If they continue down this self-destructive path, they risk more than just losing games. They risk breaking the spirit of the very player who was supposed to be their salvation, potentially pushing a phenomenon toward the exit and cementing their legacy as the team that fumbled a sure thing.